Life Fight with Jermaine Andre is a positive production of RareGem Productions. For previous episodes or to get new episode updates, subscribe to the Life Fight channel hosted on the Inspiration Network of OneRareGem.com. That's OneRaregem.com for the tools you need to take on your life fight. With U.S. Martial Arts Hall of Famer, two-time world champion, five-time U.S. champion, UFC vet, life coach, and author, Jermaine Andre. Visit JermaineAndre.com.
What's happening, everybody? Jermaine Andre here with LifeFight. And I've got Rebekah back in the studio with me.
Hello, everybody.
And if you are, I know we were able to bring up, what's that, Meerkat? Meerkat, so they get to see us live and they get the early peep of what we're talking about. Now, of course, you guys only get a small piece of it. We're still doing this Meerkat versus Periscope battle. Just so everybody know, we're having problems with sometimes these apps are crashing our phones. So that's why, a lot of times I'll say, hey, we're going to be live streaming and, blah, 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 this happens. And what's the other thing today? We forgot about how hard it is to find parking in St. Louis. We came here and, it's been a while since I've had to come to St. Louis during the daytime. I mean, to tell you truthfully, I usually only come at night. That's to have fun.
Barely,
but. Yeah. So we had to find parking. So that's why we were late. If you follow my Facebook page, you saw me saying on there that we were going to be live streaming the first part of Life Fight, on the topic that I'm going to be talking about. But until we're having, we're still working this live streaming stuff, trying to get the bugs out. We're probably going to try and go to some iPads or, computers and stuff like that because they can probably handle, all of the data better than our cell phones can. Then that way we can make sure we're not crashing our phones.
Yeah, even though that's why we got the phones, but.
That is, yeah, exactly. I mean, these phones that you make car payments on. You know what I'm saying? When you pay, $40, $50 a month on a phone, which is worth it because they do all kinds of incredible stuff. But that's just how technology is now. It's crazy. But today we're going to be talking about 7 reasons why we overeat.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is something that's really important. We all know that, the United States is something like 80% obese. And actually where we live, Missouri, is even higher than that. And for real, I tell people this, people say, oh, you're talking about obese people. But check this out. If you measure my height and my weight, I am considered obese.
Wow.
I know, ain't that something?
Because of why? I wonder why.
Because a person who's 6'1", like me, a person who's 5'7" shouldn't be 200 pounds.
Yeah.
So because of the average size of a person who's 5'7", usually they're obese.
Yeah.
They're not muscular, muscle bound like I'm like a freak of nature or something like that.
Yeah.
So when you use that, that's why I say even when they use the word, say, obese, I'm sure there's a number of people in there who really aren't obese who are probably muscular like me.
Yeah.
That get added into that category because of the average.
Yeah, mine's about 15 or 16 pounds over, too, what they say.
You're probably obese for your height.
That's what I'm saying.
Like 5'3", 5'4"?
5'2".
Okay, 5'2", and you weigh what?
About
Don't lie.
138.
138.
And it says I'm supposed to weigh about 120. So.
Yeah, you're too juicy. See? So I'm going to go over that. That's one of the things we'll go over. This is 7 reasons why we overeat. So everybody can understand. You got to know, when you're doing something that you don't want to do, or you're doing something wrong, as you would call it, if something you don't want to do is considered wrong, you got to know why you're doing it to stop it. And that's what makes it so hard for people to stop overeating is you don't even know why you do it.
Right.
And when you don't know why you do it, you don't know the traps that's set up out there by marketing and by these companies who get rich off of you eating the stuff they don't eat.
Right.
Ronald McDonald don't feed his kids McDonald's. He'll smack the crap out of them if they ate that crap.
Yeah.
Well, you don't eat a chicken nugget. Psh, that ain't real chicken. The hell wrong with you, boy? You know what I'm saying? So.
Or eat me thinking I'm eating my vegetables when I order broccoli soup and it's pure cheese.
Yeah, that's cheese. Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness, that's a killer. So anyway, so we're going to get to that. But before that, I want to talk about a story that got sent to me by one of my security guys, by Greg. And it's about a Krav Maga instructor who's actually, can you pull a story up for me? Who's actually teaching kids how to attack, armed shooters in their school. Now, this is the funny part.
Well, not attack, but just
to attack them. People that are coming in trying to kill them.
Yeah, well, it looks more like they're teaching them how just to disarm.
Yeah, disarm.
Disarm.
That's an attack.
Well, okay, that's true. Yeah.
So this is the thing here. Now, when the story was sent to me, it's sent by, and let me see here. I'm gonna pull it up here. This is not my pink phone, Meerkat people. This is her pink phone. All right. Like I said, I support breast cancer, but I don't wear pink. All right. Okay, here we go. And if any of y'all try to blackmail me with this crap, I'm coming after you. I don't care what country you're in either. All right, look here. All right, and it says this guy, it's on Funny or Die is where it came from. It says this guy's an idiot. Charge at active shooters and more. Horrible advice from Fox News. Being a kid is super tough. You've got homework, chores, and your parents are constantly nagging you. Also, we now live in a country where there have been more mass shootings this year than there have been days. It's scary, but it's reality. It's such reality that the FBI has released guidelines as to what to do if you find yourself living such a nightmare. They advise that you run or hide, which, considering the circumstances, seems like a child's best bet. Enter Fox in France, not a show known for its logic. NF advocated that should children find an active shooter in their school, they should charge them and attack them. Yes, that's right. A small petrified child should charge an angry and armed adult who could potentially have more people working with them. Also, for what it's worth, the man leading this defense workshop is named Tony Morris, and we all deserve that small laugh and miss this terrifying reality. Now, they've got a video of it also. The video is on my Facebook page, and you can go in there and take a look at it if you want to. Now, it says, this can't be the only horrible advice Fox and Friends has given out. Along with charging an active shooter, we're likely to find, and then they just make fun of, if you're allergic to peanuts, try eating them. Impatient at a crosswalk, walk directly into traffic. So they're really trying to clown on this guy, So it got sent to me, and I watched it, and what I'm going to do, I watched it. I'm going to play it here, and we're going to see if he can, he should be picking it up.
Giuliani think he's live, top of the hour. And what's that
You picking that up?
Well, take a look right there. Seconds can mean the difference between life and death in a soft target attack. How do you minimize the threat? Up next, the life-saving moves you can arm your teenagers with. Come on up.
Welcome back. Well, in an active shooter situation, 5 seconds can mean the difference between life and death. But there are some things that you can do and your children can do to make a difference. Here to show us how, self-defense expert Soke Tony Morrison and his co-instructor Seppi Malamed, along with Gabriel, David, and Eli. We thank you for joining us today. Obviously,
thank you for having us.
In the wake of the terrible news that we're hearing and really what people are calling the new normal, we're hearing more and more both support for kids going through drills to deal with an armed person in their school, and also something on the other side, a little fear in parents as to, well, if we're doing these drills, will it make the kids afraid? Do we need to be having this conversation? Tony, where do you stand on this issue?
Well, I stand that we can't make their kids ignorant about the fact that the world is a dangerous place right now. So we don't want to scare them to the point where they're paralyzed and they're not going to be kids and enjoy their life. But at the same time, we have to educate them, and we start by telling them the things to look for, to be more vigilant, to pay attention to what's going around in the surrounding, and we call it situational awareness, being aware of what's going on, so that this way they could have a fulfilled life without being afraid, but they're aware of what's going on right now.
So moving from scared to being aware and then prepared is what you really do, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
And Seppi, you're nodding, so maybe I'm right on track. Can I ask some of the students here, Gabe, do you guys have active shooter drills? Do you have lockdown drills in your school?
Like once a year, we usually do a lockdown drill where everyone hides behind, so the shooter, if he were to look through the window of the door, he wouldn't be able to see us.
Okay, David, do you do the same thing?
Yeah, we do the same thing. We do drills so everybody's prepared for the worst.
And do you get scared when you do that?
No, you know what's going to happen. You know what the routine is for the school. It just has to happen.
Okay, and Eli, when you go through these drills, even through your practice here, do you feel more prepared, more able, or do you feel more scared?
Yes, ma'am, I feel very prepared. I feel like if I know what's happening, especially through my training, I can be able to make a proper step.
Okay, to me, this sounds like an enabled heart that I'm hearing. Someone who's willing, able, prepared, aware, and able to actually do something because they've gone through some steps. So let's go through one right now. You guys, Tony and Seppi, you're gonna display for us and exemplify what would happen in an armed shooter situation. What would that look like?
All right, so I'm going to pretend that I have a gun here, and if I was an active shooter and there was a wall or something and I'm pointing the gun at someone, and Seppi's going to disarm me.
Okay, and that's coming from behind.
That's coming from behind. So what happens is if you're hidden in a doorway and the gunman is searching, he's searching. As soon as he comes and he has his weapon out, we're going to attack the weapon immediately and start to attack the gunman.
Okay, so Seppi,
All right, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I just want to give the idea.
Yeah.
And you can go see that on my Facebook page. I have it posted up there. Meerkat people you're watching right now, you can go look at it right now and get a better view of it. Our podcasts usually come out a week or two later after we record. So if you're hearing this on LifeFight, you probably got to scroll through my Facebook page to find it. But what the guy was doing, this instructor, he's training kids how to disarm an active shooter. You know, if he comes into their room, you know, to hide and wait for, you know, hide behind the wall and wait and take the gun and then hit him. He even had, what was interesting, they had the little girl. She took the gun, which if you don't, a lot of people, this is what I always give advice to people on this. Never take advice from somebody who doesn't have experience in what they're talking about. You always hear these people talking smack, you know, which we call talking heads. Oh, you can't take a gun, you can't take a knife, you can't this and that. You know, karate sucks, kung fu sucks. You know, even like I say, even in the MMA world, you know, karate's no good. But the person who's saying that, they've never taken karate, they've never taken taekwondo, they've never studied a course on how to disarm weapons. So you don't want to take advice from somebody who's never even done it.
Yeah.
You know, because they're just talking smack. You know, me personally, I've disarmed guns, I've disarmed knives, I've fought with knives, I've fought with guns. Muay Thai books coming out, you don't believe me, you know, run a background check on me. It's going to make your head spin of what I've been through and what I've done. You know, every day in bodyguarding situations and, you know, security situations, we deal with armed people and we disarm them all the time. So, and these techniques, the way you can take a gun out of somebody's hand, which, Rebekah, you know, I taught you how to do it. It's simple. The mechanics of how it works against the hand, you can take it. You just have to make the move to do it. So he's showing his little girl on there, and, you know, she disarmed the gun from the guy. She came from beside him where he couldn't see. Right. It was a great idea that she was kind of hiding under his shoulder.
Yeah, she ducked under.
Under his peripheral vision. And the disarm she used would work. Even against me, if I had my big, strong hands on there, the disarm she used would take that gun out of my hand. Right. And then she hit him, you know, with elbow to the face. I don't care how big and strong you are. She was probably about 13, 14. Elbow to the face is going to stun you. Yeah. You know, and anybody who says, oh, the little girl won't have, that's because you know no martial arts. You never study. You know, and if you believe that, I invite you to my academy to come there and let me have one of my 13-year-old girls elbow you in your face, knee you in your groin, and then let's see you stand up. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. You know, I'm tired of people talking smack and, you know, trying to discredit people when they have no credit. Yeah. You know, what is your credibility to even judge what this man is doing? You know, and when it was sent to him and I seen that, you know, what these guys were trying to make fun of him and I watched it, now I'm ready to jump on this guy. But like, yeah, we'll see what this clown doing. And I said, that's good. Yeah. You know, for one, he's teaching our kids to stand up. You know, and people say, oh, well, that's stupid. What's the look? Okay, so what's your advice? That they should just lay there and wait to get shot?
So is that what people were against? They were actually against the idea that it's kids, or were they against what he was teaching?
That it's kids.
Oh, that it's kids.
That he's teaching kids to fight back. Yeah. And then what I really love later in the video is that he teaches them how to do it in a team. Yeah. That if there's more than one of them together, okay, here's, you distract them, I'm going to attack from here. Yeah. And people say, you know, oh, they're just little weak kids. And you know what? I think adults, the stupidest thing that we as adults do is we underestimate kids. Absolutely. You know, in other countries, you know, these gang lords, they put AK-47s in 10-year-old hands. And they are warriors. They are soldiers. They'll blow away an American soldier, any kind of soldier, and they will take over. And, you know, and that's the same thing. Right now, we're living in a different time. You know what I'm saying? Leave it to Beaver days are over. You know, that was the 50s and the 60s. And when the 70s hit, I think that disappeared. And I'm not even old enough. Well, I know what was happening in the 70s. I was just born in the 70s. Rebekah, leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? So this is different times. That you have kids coming in the schools, open firing. You got terrorists coming in, open firing. So our kids you got to keep it real with them. Just like a tornado drill. Like they said, they have active shooter drills. You got tornado drills. You got drills for a nuclear bomb going off. You got fire drills. This is reality. You know, one of these little kids who feels like he's not getting what he wants and plays too many damn video games, shooting people in the head every day, and he's desensitized, might pick up his dad's gun and come into the school and open fire. And I want my daughter to jump up and kick his ass. I'm sorry, you know, I don't want her laying there getting shot in her back, hoping this guy doesn't shoot her. I would rather every kid in that school say, you know what, let's get him. Yeah. You know, because I remember it was another one where a guy actually he said that they should stock cans of canned food in the schoolrooms, you know. So if a shooter comes in, you take these cans of soup, all the kids thought it. And somebody said, oh, this guy's an idiot, that's so stupid. I'm like, what's your idea? First of all, at least that's a great idea.
Right, something.
Yeah, you ever had a can of soup thrown at you? You know, like I said, I invite you, bring your butt out to my academy, and I will arm all my kids in there with cans of soup, and we will give you a pellet gun, you know, and you see how many shots you get off when they start beat like baseball bat. So it's just something.
Everybody doesn't want their kids to be educated to this kind of stuff, but they let them watch R-rated movies. You know, they let them play the video games themselves, which you always say, you know, desensitizes them to want to go out and do it anyway. So you're letting them do it in a fake world, but in the real world, you don't want them to do it.
Ooh, that's a good point. That's mean. Because in the fake, you let them shoot up and kill. And what was the game I said that?
I think it's a
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto.
We don't want to talk about Call of Duty 4 yet. You know, where you have an assassination, where you go into a
airport.
listeners, it is a scene in Call of Duty 4 where you go into an airport and you shoot and murder unarmed people. Yeah. That's the scene.
Just
you
regular
are behind
citizens.
the gun. And you're just unloading on citizens. I mean, people laying in the ground. You're shooting them with M60s. I mean, this is, you know what I'm saying? But this is programming. People don't understand. People say, oh, it's just a video game. Dude, what the eyes see and the ears hear is that's what education is. If you say a video game doesn't teach you, music doesn't teach you, you know, what you read and write doesn't teach you, you're saying education doesn't work.
Right.
Then you shouldn't go to school. You know, so it's all programming. But I think this idea that this man is thinking to teach our kids to stand up, one, it'll be a deterrent. Because, you know, I love them. I want to bring them to teach our kids. Because if you go to there's a school in the neighborhood, let's say, let's pick a school, let's say St. Charles West. Okay, because that's school close to us where we're in our area. And you know that all the kids there, or most of the kids, or some of the kids, are trained to actively disarm a shooter.
Yeah.
Now, when there's one kid who, you know, he's been playing too many video games, or maybe getting picked, or whatever it is, his reason, he decides he wants to come shooting, that's going to detour him from coming to shoot. He's going to think about that. Wait a minute, there's people here who might try to take this gun from me. Because the main thing that these shooters are counting on is you being a coward. When I come in shooting, everybody's going to be laying down like punks, and I can shoot them in the back of their head. You know, but when they think for 1 second, wait a minute, there's people in here with training to maybe take this away from me. That's why just having one cop on the grounds or two cops on the school grounds detours that type of behavior, because that one cop could be, you know, a half a mile away from school, but he knows that cop's there. Yeah. Man, if I go in and try to shoot, there's a cop there who could get me. So if he knows that there are these kids with this training and they might elbow me in the face and they might do it, that's going to detour it.
Right, for sure.
You know, so I really applaud Krav Maga and this instructor for their efforts to try to come up with something, while everybody else is saying, hey, I just want my kid to sit on a couch, eat M&Ms, and play video games and not have any accountability for anything.
Well, and if you teach your kids just to be strong and to stand up against just bad in general, they're not going to be paranoid. You know, they're not going to live every day feeling like, oh my God, it's just going to happen to me. And I think that's what people's fear is, that their kid's going to be paranoid and that they're not going to be able to be a child and they're not going to be able to relax. But that's not how it is. If they feel good about it and they feel like they're standing up for themselves and their peers, they're not going to be paranoid. So,
and I'm so glad I always have you on the show with me, because you always bring the soft side, you know, especially when I'm getting too passionate and mad about everything. But then that's exactly true, because that's something. You watch that video. Look at those kids. Look at how respectable they are. They're not meatheads. Yeah. They're not like, I'm going to take a gun and I'm going to do this and that. They seem like regular, everyday, nice kids who probably want to get their education. But you know what? We're not going to be your coward today. Yeah. You're not going to come in here and not have a fight. Yeah. It's just like we were at McAllister's. McAllister's got really good food, just so y'all know. They did not pay for that spot either, so I'm not going to talk about them anymore. But we were there, and everywhere I walk in, the first thing I think is if somebody comes in here trying to shoot and open fire, because that's our problem nowadays. You ain't got to work.
Why do you think that when you go into McAllister's?
That's anywhere I go into.
Oh, okay.
I'm just giving an example. So this is not saying McAllister's is dangerous. See, McAllister's going to get mad. They're going to say, look, we sponsor you or not.
I wanted to make sure you were just saying that you thought about it the last time you were in.
Any type of facility, I assume, because it's a place with a lot of people, you know, and that's where these terrorist acts are happening. They're looking for places. They want a place where you feel comfortable, and they want to come in and unload. So we're all terrorized. You know, that's how terrorism operates. So the first thing I do when I walk in, you know, and I teach you to do, look for escape areas, and I look for everyday weapons, because even though, you know, the CCW's out, most people don't carry. Yeah. Because they're not comfortable with guns, or they didn't get the training. And then if they do carry, most of them, they might freeze up. Yeah. Because they still haven't had any active training on how to respond when in shock. And so the first thing I start looking at is this salt and pepper shaker. Yeah. Everybody, you know, somebody coming in. Hey, everybody, we got somebody coming in with a gun. Everybody grab a salt and pepper shaker and load them up. You know, and while y'all throwing the salt and pepper shakers, I'm going to get them from the outside. Yeah. And imagine him coming in and just all these salt and pepper shakers just flinging at him. You can't get a clean shot. You know, and if he stands there and keeps shooting, one of them hit him in his eye.
Now, are you saying that to use it for the pepper to get in their eye, or are you talking about just hitting them with it?
I'm talking about this glass.
Oh, okay.
You know, just hitting them with it.
Or so opening it and hitting it with the tube.
You know what I'm saying? Just finding tools and weapons that you can use. And that's what I like about the teacher who said, you know, having canned food in the classroom, you know, for the kids. But it's the whole factor of trying to do something, you know, and you can't ever, when you're sitting back and you got no idea, no plans, no nothing, you're an idiot for calling somebody who's trying to do something an idiot. I don't care if he says jump up and to take your pants off and go blue, 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 just to make him laugh for 3 seconds. You know what I'm saying? That's better than lay down and hope he doesn't shoot you.
Yeah.
You know, because when people work in numbers, a gun is not as dangerous as you think it is when you're not afraid of it.
Right.
And you make an attack towards it. You know, now, of course, you don't want to run just straight to somebody and get shot in the face, something like that. But this guy had a plan. I like what he had. So.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah, I definitely want to just cover that. But everybody, if you can, go to my Facebook page, take a look at it. And we got to kick Meerkat off. Sorry, guys, you only get to see the first part of the show. You want to hear the rest of it, you will have to go and find us on LifeFight. We're on Stitcher, iHeart, iTunes, Spreaker. We're on everywhere. Jermaine Andre's LifeFight, and you can hear the rest of the show.
Always check the Facebook page out, too. Got a lot of good stuff on there.
Yep, and always give me some good comments, And I know that one thing, hold on, somebody on there even said, I had somebody go on the Facebook page when I made the post this morning about this Krav Maga guy, and he actually said he was an idiot. Yeah, scroll down on my Facebook page. I'll take some of that water while you're doing that.
He looks like an idiot.
Yep. Let me read a couple of comments. Y'all can stay with us a little longer, Meerkat.
You want me to read them or you got it?
I wish I could stay with us forever. Go ahead.
All right. Well, the first comment said he looks like an idiot.
All right. So there's somebody who's saying he looks like an idiot. Now, I totally disagree with that, and I'm willing to bet that whoever said that doesn't have any martial art training. All right. Now, but I do appreciate the comment. I know everybody's not going to agree with me, and you may see something that I don't see. So, just call him an idiot doesn't help. I would like a person to point out why you think he's an idiot, and then what you think would be better to be done for when somebody comes in to murder our kids on school grounds.
Yeah. Definitely, if you're going to make a comment like that, you should at least have a comeback along with saying
why.
Yeah, with why you think that. The next comment says, this instructor is awesome. I love his work. His ideas and training are right on point. Too many talking heads that think hiding and running are the answer. And then last comment, someone had asked you, Jermaine, how do you address the 21-foot rule? What's the 21-foot rule?
He's probably talking about, if I would assume the only 21-foot rule that I'm thinking of, and I'll have to go ask him what he's talking about, is a reference to drawing a gun before somebody get to you with a knife or something like that. The person, but these an active shooter, he's already got his gun drawn.
Right.
And the 20-foot rule is that you teach people, and I teach it beyond CCW, that if somebody's at 20 feet with a knife, and this is for police officers with a gun on their hip, that he'll get to you and cut you with that knife before you can make an active draw. A good, draw with perfect aim and get the shots off.
Right.
And then even if, and then I go beyond the 21-foot drill by saying, even if you get the shots off at him, he's probably still going to cut you.
Yeah.
Because you can shoot a person and still not. It's not like I say all the time, it's not like the movies where they're going to fly through a wall. You put a bullet in somebody, most of the time they don't even know they're shot.
Yeah.
He'll still get you with that knife. So I'm assuming that's what he's referring to. But, an active shooter, his gun's already drawn.
Okay.
So,
it was a she, but.
Huh?
It was a she, but.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Yep. So anyway, we got a LifeFight list. We got to kick Meerkat off.
Bye.
They can't get too much. So you guys be sure to listen to the rest of the show later, okay? Listeners, hang on. Meerkat viewers, bye-bye. Now, 7 reasons why we overeat. This is really important because I see so many people struggling, with overeating. We as Americans. And it's funny because I always say this. Our forefathers did too good a job. You think about back in the days, they had to grow their own food. Mm-hmm. You had to hunt and kill your own meat. You had to milk a cow. What other kind of food is that? Well, it was vegetable fruit. You had to pick your own fruit. Mm-hmm. So it was work.
You had to start your own fire.
You had to start your own fire. It was work to eat. So people didn't eat much.
Yeah.
And you didn't waste much either because you said, man, I don't want to have to go hunt. Mm-hmm. I don't want, man, it took all day we almost didn't get growth this year because of the bad weather.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or, man, the fruit didn't come out great because we had that frosty season. So I'm not wasting this food. So we didn't eat much. But what ended up happening, our forefathers did such a good job of, building things up where we got grocery stores, refrigerators. Now we got so much food that the epidemic is overeating. Before the epidemic was starving, now the epidemic is too much food there.
Yeah.
So, always remember this. If you feel like I'm pointing a finger at you, I'm pointing 4 back at myself. Let me see. 4 back, 3 back at myself. And a thumb. My thumb's kind of pointing at you if I'm pointing.
It's kind of pointing at me.
Well, it's pointing at you. Well, if I'm pointing at you, my thumb. Well, the thumb's kind of pointing down at an angle. The way
I think we get your point.
Okay, y'all get my point. So, all right, but the whole thing is I'm an overeater, big time, but I do know why I overeat, and there's times that I stop myself. Not many times. You know, actually, what I do to counter my overeating is I work out hard. I punish myself. I'd rather take the punishment, you know, on the treadmill and in the gym to control my overeating than to stop overeating because I have my reasons for using. So let's go through why we overeat. You got it written down? What's number one?
Boredom.
Boredom. We eat because we're bored. I can think of numerous times that I'm sitting on a couch, especially on a Sunday, if I don't have something to do.
Oh, yeah.
Or a Saturday, I don't have something to do, there's no work. If I'm sitting on the couch, it's game over, dude.
Yeah. First of all, you don't ever have no work. But
that's why. Because I don't want to be sitting at home eating. You know, if I got work to do, I go all day without eating.
Yeah.
I can eat one meal and I would not eat. I can work out too and I'll be perfectly fine. Nighttime will come and I'll be like, oh, cool. Eat dinner, go to bed.
I don't know, though. Sitting in front of the computer, it kind of goes along with boredom. It makes you want to eat, too.
Well, that's because it depends on the type of work.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole thing, what you're saying there. When I'm talking about the type of work that I do, I'm saying if I'm on the floor.
Oh, yeah,
I'm training people and I'm doing workshops. And it's got to be type of, you know, training I enjoy training people with. And I'm excited and we down there throwing down. I look up 10 hours pass and cool.
Yeah.
I didn't need to eat. You know, but yeah, if I'm sitting in front of the laptop, it's a fight.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'll chew 10 packs of gum just trying to counter it. But boredom is something that, you know, that really gets us in, you know, even, you know, back in ancient Greece, if you go to like the stadiums where they had the, you know, the fights or whatever, it wasn't fights, it was actually slaughters.
Yeah.
And, you know, all the rich got to sit and watch the poor kill each other or get eaten by lions. They had what's called puke vats.
Ugh.
Yeah, puke vats. So what would happen, and I understand this because I've had this happen to me, where I'll be sitting there and I'll be watching, you know, we got 3 movies. I'm sitting on the couch. You know, I've changed positions about 50 times. You know, now I'm kind of standing on my head because I'm so bored. But I've already ate like, you know, 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 candy bars, 3 bowls of popcorn, you know, had a soda in there somewhere, you know, a cup of juice. I mean, we keep going down the line, you know, some Skittles. And I feel like I'm about to pop. I'm about to puke.
Yeah.
And I'm so bored that I'll keep eating.
Yeah.
You know, I'll eat some more because I'm just like, man, I did. And then I'll say, you know what? I should go throw up in the bathroom, you know, puke. I'm not talking about being bulimic. That's different. They do it out of guilt. I want to puke so I can eat more. So I can just keep eating more junk. You know, and I've been in that point. Now, of course, I don't do it. You know, I say, okay, Jermaine, you tripping. Now you way out of line, you know, and so I'll stop. But they actually used to have what's called puke vats. And that's what you would do is they sit around and watch everybody getting killed and they would eat and eat and eat. And they get so full that they would just turn. It was right like in the behind the seat. And you just, and they put their finger down their throat and puke in it.
Oh.
And then the slaves came and ran water down, and it was like almost like a little sewer thing or like a gutter.
That's gross.
And they come and run, I know, they come and run water down, and then you can eat more.
Yeah, thanks for the story, Jermaine.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? That's kind of stuff that goes on. You know, so boredom is a reason that we overeat. So you have to remember that. When you find yourself bored, you know, and you feel that you start eating because you're bored, find something to do. You know what I'm saying? That'll help.
Yeah, but what if you're at work in a cubicle and you can't find something to do?
That's a good point. You know, then you got to go to chewing gum, eating sunflower seeds, you know, find something that's not as fattening, you know, that you can eat.
It's so weird because, you know, we get so used to bad foods, you know, that when you really learn to eat good food, like I never used to be a really big fruit eater or anything, but I started freezing blueberries, and I really liked it. It started tasting like candy to me.
They do not taste like candy, but go ahead.
I'll choose a frozen blueberry over candy now. So
I won't. Go ahead.
They do taste like candy.
Look, we're not going to have this fight again. We had this fight before that blueberries do not taste like candy.
Frozen blueberries do taste like candy.
But you should try it. You listen to Rebekah now. Don't listen to me. Because if she says they taste like candy, they do kind of. You know what I'm saying? Of course, they can't compare candy.
Well, anyway, my whole point is that, you know, we can't be so against eating good stuff. You know what I'm saying? We can't be against nibbling on peanuts and fruit and, you know, a carrot tray. And it sounds so, you know, it sounds easier. It's easier said than done, but it's not really. I think once you learn to like it, you know, enjoy eating it, it can become good.
You know, taste is number 3 on here.
Oh.
So can you not
okay.
that subject?
No, that's taste.
Instead of hunger, yeah. So we'll talk about the taste stuff later. So what's number 2? You don't know.
I didn't write them all down.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. Depression. Depression is one of the biggest reasons that we overeat. When we're depressed, you know, and you eat, like food actually gives a chemical response. It releases endorphins. It releases serotonin. Eating food actually makes you high. You know, so when you're depressed, that's one of the reasons you eat too. So if you're depressed, instead of going and eating something again, find something to do.
Yeah.
You know, and just knowing that when you're in a depressed state, that you're probably going to overeat, and especially you kind of miss that you're doing it because you're focused on why you're depressed. You're thinking, oh man, this is so hard. Next thing you know, you went through a gallon of ice cream.
Yeah, but usually if they were not depressed, then they'd be going and doing whatever it is you think they should do. But if they're depressed, you know, usually when you're depressed, I would assume that you can't get up and go do what you're saying they should do. Like you're saying, when you're depressed, just get up and go do something. But they're depressed. Or else they'd be up and doing something. So usually it's hard to get out of that rut.
You can be depressed and up doing something. I mean, it's, you know...
Like, what do you mean by go do something then?
Well, we all go through depression. You know, everybody does. You know, I go through it sometimes. You know, and I say that don't mean I get in a slump and go hide in a hole. But there's days I wake up and I don't feel good about what's happening. You know, what's going on. So that's a little bit of depression. I still go work out. Mm-hmm. You know, and so instead of sitting at home and going, man, I feel like crap. You know, and then next thing you know, I'm sitting on the couch watching TV. And then, you know, I start eating.
Yeah.
You know, I go and I just try to go with my normal daily routine. You know, or you can go skating.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, something active.
But I think that's a case, I think, of slight depression. I think when people get into a real depression, it's hard for them to really get out of that. And that's when they do overeat.
Yeah. You still have to try. You know, of course, you know, if you're in deep depression, then it might be time to see a psychologist, something like that. Mm-hmm. You know, but the whole fact of trying to keep from overeating because you're depressed is to go do something. Just like boredom. You got to get off your butt and you got to go do something. Mm-hmm. You sit around, you're going to eat.
Yeah, you're better off getting up and cleaning the house than
clean the house.
Not. Yeah,
you know, paint a picture. Mm-hmm. You know, anything, something that just occupies your mind.
Right.
Because if not, because of that depression, it's going to make you overeat. Okay. And then number 3, taste instead of hunger. Like that's what we just talked about, taste. One of the reasons that you were, you know, overdoing that stuff, but one of the reasons that we overeat is for taste. I always tell people this. I say, you know, we as Americans don't even get hungry before we eat. We eat because we just want to taste the food. Yeah. And I say, you know, if you want to see when you're hungry, think of a fruit or a vegetable that you don't really like. Mm-hmm. You know, think of it right now. And then don't eat again until you're ready to eat that. And it's going to taste good too.
Right.
It's just like right now, I'm hungry. You know, in the old American...
You're always hungry.
That's true too. But in the old American way, I'm saying I'm hungry. All right. I can eat a steak. I can eat some nachos. I can eat a burrito. I'm thinking a cheeseburger, some lasagna, some pizza, some man. We got Tony. Y'all got a menu up here somewhere. so I'm making myself hungry. See what I'm doing to myself. Yeah. But we can keep it. Oh, don't let me talk about cake and ice cream and all that. I can eat all of that right now.
Yeah.
But I couldn't eat an apple. You know, I couldn't eat what's something else I couldn't eat an orange. You bring an
frozen
orange
blueberries.
Yeah, they might eat that crap. But bring some broccoli and put it in front of me. I ain't eating that crap right now. You know why? Because I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
You know, but when I go work out and I've been sweating and I'm tired, I come home and I walk straight to the refrigerator, I grab the broccoli. I grab an apple and it tastes good to me. That's because I'm truly hungry at that time.
Well, I think people still go off taste because I think along with everything that has to go with overeating, I think people eat out too much. And I think that when you eat out, they make such good food that you get so used to it. Yes. I mean, you know, when you cook at home, you cook with, you know, like me personally, when I cook at home, I cook with olive oil. You know, I don't use a lot of butter.
Do that, right?
You're right, I didn't used to cook like that. But my whole point is that when you go out, they make food so good. And I think most people eat out more than they used to. I mean, I know people who eat out, you know, 3 or 4
every
days
meal.
a week. Yeah. Or every meal. You're right. Yeah. So you get so used to that good taste that's number one, why you overeat. And number two, why when you go back to trying to eat good, it's like, this doesn't even taste good or healthy, you know? So I think that's what goes along with the taste.
This is what I teach people. I always like to teach you. You remember my main thing is to teach you how to not be somebody's sucker. You know, life fight always goes back to defending yourself. You know, being prepared, being aware, and being ready to defend. All right, so here's your being prepared. You got to understand, and your awareness, you got to understand why they make food taste good. Okay, here's an apple. Now, how can I make you buy this apple? Yeah. You know, I can make your kid buy an apple. They're going to look at it, they're going to walk past it. But what I'm going to do, is I'm going to put some candy on it. What's it called? A candy apple?
Caramel corn.
I'm going to put some caramel on it. I'm going to dip it in caramel. I'm going to do all this stuff. Now I'm going to put that pack up there. Now your kid's going to buy these 6 apples that he didn't buy at first.
Yeah.
So they make food taste good, so we'll buy it. Mm-hmm. They want us overstuffed. They don't care about it. They just want you to buy food that you normally would not buy.
Right.
So they add flavor to it, all this stuff to it to make it taste good when you're not hungry. Mm-hmm. So if you understand that, okay, I'm not hungry, but they're making this and adding all this to it to make it taste good so I can eat when I'm not hungry. Yeah. Now you're overeating. Mm-hmm. And that's the truth. Just being aware of that will help you. I'm not saying, stop eating, stop having fun, and stop enjoying life. Yeah. Our ancestors gave their lives to get things to this position where we got food at disposed like that. But we don't want to get so bad with it that, like we say now, being overweight's an epidemic and our health is becoming an epidemic. Mm-hmm. And like I said, even somebody like me who's a health and fitness nut, I overeat. Yeah. But I still know why I do it, and I still catch myself at times. There's times I walk through the candy aisle, and we don't, like I said, jelly beans. Look at the color. Man, I walk through, see some jelly beans, and I'll go to a candy store and want to buy it just because of the colors.
Hey, you're not on that one yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. That was back up. But just because of the taste. Yeah. Just because of all the sugar in it and the things that, so if we keep in mind that, a lot of times we're eating when we're not really hungry because of the way it tastes. Yeah. Then that'll help to control also.
Well, and just going back to eating out, I always really strongly suggest to try not to eat out, especially, at restaurants, it's so much, make it more of a reward, like Saturday. I look forward to Saturday because I know it's going to be the evening where I go out to a nice restaurant and I eat good food, but not all throughout the week. I remember growing up, it was a treat for my family to even eat out. I think it was about once every 2 months, my dad would just bring home Chinese takeout, and that was a treat to us.
That's because you couldn't afford it. It was 80 y'all.
Well, yeah.
Man, so I don't know how you even did that, especially back in those days.
But I'm saying that was a treat to us. We only could have one soda on the weekend. It was a treat to us. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I just think things have changed a lot. I think, between sodas and going out to eat and stuff, that's become more of a daily routine for people instead of making it more of a reward.
If you start eating kind of like what I do.
I know everyone gets busy and
I guess I forget about that sense.
And they think going out to eat is their only option, but it's not. I will tell you, I can go to Deerberg's and they have a center section that just has almost anything that you could imagine. They have rotisserie chicken. They have, salmon, pulled salmon that's already cut. They have pulled chicken. It might not be so fresh like if you were to make it fresh or go to a restaurant, but they still do have a lot of options for people who are busy to go up and pick up prepared meals. So just always keep that in mind too.
Yeah, and if you keep in mind, every time you eat, don't search for taste. Mm-hmm. That helps also. It's just like we go through what I eat. I usually wake up and I eat this cereal. What's the name of that cereal?
Raisin Bran?
No, it's not Raisin Bran.
That's Raisin Bran.
That is not. But what's the name of it? It's some kind of healthy cereal that Caitlin introduced me to.
I mean, I don't know.
It doesn't taste very good.
I just know that
whatever it is, it's on some healthy, organic cereal, but it's not great tasting. So I don't eat much of it. And then, my second breakfast is, eggs, turkey bacon and jelly toast. It's not a donut, what do you call it?
Or sweet potatoes with cinnamon on it. Yeah, that's your replacement, for something.
Right. And then dinner is, burrito bowls, these organic burrito bowls, which is not a burrito like you're thinking. It's not loaded up with cheese.
Right, it's just rice and beans and lettuce and stuff.
And what's that flatbread thing called? Flatbread pita. So my daily meals aren't very tasty during the week. And then spinach. Then spinach with olive oil and what's the salt?
Garlic salt. Well, I think a lot of it starts with trying to cut condiments out. If we could start thinking about cutting, thinking that we need to drown everything in barbecue sauce and ranch and those kind of things, that's a good step away from thinking that you don't have flavorful stuff.
I'm not looking for great taste during the week. Yeah. Now, when the weekend hits, I mean what I want to eat. Mm-hmm. So I think that'll help. If everybody will say, you're at work and you go on to lunch, don't just go for the best tasting stuff. Yeah. I'm looking for what tastes great. Go for something that don't taste so great. Yes. Then you won't eat so much.
Right.
That'll help.
Well, food's supposed to just fuel you, to give you energy for the day. It's not supposed to be, such a treat.
Right. Such a treat every time. Yeah.
Now, wait, I have a quick question, and we get asked this a lot. Okay. When it comes to vegetables and, stuff like that, people always say, am I even eating healthy if I get my broccoli and I drown it in ranch?
No, you're not.
It's not healthy for you still?
I mean, if you drown it in ranch, like
not drown,
I always
but dip.
tell people, you dip it in. That's why it's called dip. But they'll use the vegetable to eat the dip.
No, but I'm asking,
like a spoon.
Is it better to not eat it at all, or to still eat it with ranch?
It's still better to get some in. I mean, of course, but you still have to understand. Like you have people they'll say, "Hey, I want to lose weight." We'll say, "Okay, you need to start eating vegetables." So then they'll go get a vegetable tray. And then they'll smother everything in, ranch. Well, look at the calories of the ranch. First of all, the ranch first ingredient is probably corn syrup.
Yeah.
It's loaded with sugar, so you're dumping sugar on it. And then they'll do that for, 2-3 weeks. Say, well, I'm not losing weight. Well, all you did was start eating a bunch of ranch on top of your vegetables. So you still have to be conscious of that.
Yeah. If my sister's listening and you know who you are, you need to quit dipping everything in cheese sauce, too.
Cheese sauce, yeah, that's definitely going to kill it. That's why it's called dip. Dip. Just touch it. It's just supposed to add a little bit of taste.
She dips her sandwich, her turkey club, her fries. She dips everything in it.
Right, and then look at it like this.
Shame on you.
And what you do, look at it like this. Take the ranch and how much they dip it, and pour it in a cup and measure it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much you drinking that ranch is what you're doing. So, okay, next, number 4. Peer pressure from friends, boss, co-workers, family members. That's a big one we always talk about to our students is, when you start trying to get yourself and get yourself together, the people around you aren't together, they may feel intimidated by what you're doing. So, and then sometimes not even that. Like I know that eating is a big time social fun thing for Americans.
Yeah.
That's what I love to do. Whenever I want to get a group together, we go eat. There's not going to, even a business meeting. I don't want to go to a business meeting. There ain't no food there.
Yes, we know you need food everywhere you go.
Exactly. Like there's no food in here. And I'm still asking Tony, y'all got a menu or something around it? No, I'm just kidding. I don't need a menu. So, but that's the whole thing that's one of the things we have to understand is that the peer pressure comes from friends, and they make you feel where it's okay to overeat.
Yeah.
Even
or they make you feel bad for trying to eat good.
But for trying to eat good or for not overeating when at the time that's happening. So knowing that that's happening is something that you got to keep in mind too.
Yep, that's why, and I love it. Part of our academy, we have a lot of families that work out together, and that really helps when you get your whole family together on the same, workouts that you're doing, the same meal plans that you're doing. That's a good idea.
Yeah, and if you're dealing with, like we say, business meetings, functions like that, most of the time you go to them, there'll be a vegetable tray or something there. Try to steer towards that first. If you run functions like that, instead of just giving people the only option they have is, donuts and cakes and all this, great stuff. I'm not mad at you for putting that stuff out because I'm going to eat some of it myself, but also allow the option too of some healthy stuff for them.
Yeah. And then along with that, like you were saying earlier, how we live in a different world, things are a little different. Not all moms have the opportunity to stay home, and get the house ready and cook and clean and make sure dinner's on the table when the family comes home. So I really, 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 really would like to start seeing our young people, ages, I would say probably, 13, probably all the way up to 16. I'd like to start seeing them, become a little more involved in this area, of cooking, making sure, Caitlin, your daughter, she's great at it. She can cook.
Yeah, she was 14, 15, started cooking for us. Yeah.
We have a few other, teenagers at our gym that are like that. It helps with that kind of stuff, with families being able to eat healthy and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's the main thing is.
Plus, you need to learn how to cook young so that you know how to cook older, or else.
That's right. Yeah, you got to know exactly. Or you're gonna be eating out all the time. Yeah. But that's I know that we've got I had a team up there that we were training. They were really trying to get in shape, and the grandmother that they live with just cooks like crazy, and that made it hard because she felt offended if they didn't eat her cooking.
Right.
So that's kind of stuff. But and I told them that sometimes you got to trick your way around it. You might have to say, I'm trying to. You got to come up with a reason not to eat. But just knowing that that's one of the places that overeating comes from is peer pressure from friends and stuff like that is something also that can help you stop that.
So I think they should start cooking and doing home economics and cooking classes at a younger age instead of always. They don't really do it till you become a senior. When you're older in high school, but I think they should start doing that at a younger age.
I don't know if they even do home economics in school anymore.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure.
Know. Yeah, so, and then that's the other thing too, teaching, if you're an employee, if you're a kid, teaching the people who are providing about healthy stuff, because it is good tasting healthy stuff out there.
I mean, everything that we eat now is so much better than I ever used to eat before.
Definitely. Okay. All right, the next one, a lack of reason not to overeat. That's a really good one. Why shouldn't you overeat? I mean, we just said all the things that overeating does. It kills boredom. It kills depression. It tastes good. It's great for social times, so why should I not overeat? And that's the truth. Like we say, I always say this in like St. Louis, and people say, that Missouri's, St. Louis is, the obesity rate is so high. We don't have beaches. We don't have mountains.
Yeah.
There's nothing really physical for us to do. We got a brown river. Yeah. That I'm not swimming in that crap. You know what I'm saying? And then, St. Louis is still, even when I walk down the street with a tank top on, it's kind of,
Well, you're more out of place walking around the way you look than everybody else.
Exactly. So it doesn't give people a real reason to want to stay in shape. Because even if you say, okay, well, I'm going to get in shape for the spring and the summer, unless you got $1 million boat at the Lake of the Ozarks, or you got $200, $300 per weekend to spend down at the Lake of the Ozarks, someplace like that, where are you going to show your body off at?
Right.
And it's not like Florida or LA where you can just walk around with a T-shirt and swim trunks on.
So that goes along probably with depression, with where you're at,
We should do that too. This spring or this summer, we should put you in a bikini and me in swim trunks, and let's just walk down Washington Street, walk down and see what kind of looks we get.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And film everybody's response so you can see. But that's the whole thing. So then you feel like, okay, well, everybody looking at me like I'm crazy. Yeah. So, man, I'd rather go just
sit around do what I want.
Eat what I want to eat instead of, sacrificing and not eating and then, and then there's really nowhere to do anything. And then, even like I said, even a public pool, that's, so.
Yeah.
A lot of times a lack of reason not to overeat. So you have to try to come up with a reason not to overeat. Try to find something that try to find, like you say, find somewhere to go, get in shape for a vacation, plan a cruise, if you can afford to plan a cruise or start planning trips. Like I remember I made a post about the Lake of the Ozarks. We were down there and I took a picture of, was it Coconuts? We had this place called Coconuts. And I took a picture and everybody hit my Facebook, blew me up. Man, where you at? You in Florida? Was that Hawaii? I said, it's the Lake of the Ozarks. But it's so beautiful with some of the stuff they've done down there.
Yeah.
But the Lake of the Ozarks is the goal of ours. If I know we can't, get far away, we're going to be in shape just to go to the Lake of the Ozarks.
Right.
So there are places close by that you can go to and set yourself a goal and say, you know what, I'm not going to overeat me, and I want to get in shape so I can go to the Lake of the Ozarks. Because you can walk around in a bikini top down there and shorts and sandals and everything. It's great down there. You don't have to own a $10 million boat to be a part of the Lake of the Ozarks.
And of course, there's competitions, any kind of sports that you're in. Even as adults, you have 5Ks, stuff like that. And that's kind of why I like the idea that like 5Ks and races have become more about, this isn't competition, we're just here for fun. But then what it does is it kind of shies people away from preparing for it, where they don't feel that they have to be ready for it, or that they have no, competition in their heart to try to go win or do anything like that. So that's kind of a...
I think you still have marathons.
Marathons and stuff.
You still have stuff where you can compete.
But I mean, even
I think that you're thinking of the fundraising benefits. And
no, I mean, even Tough Mudder's not competitive anymore.
They don't need to be competitive. They need to.
No, I'm just saying, but even then, they don't have winners. It's more they're teaching you to stop and wait for people and help them, which is a good idea. But then I think it loses people's competition.
Yeah, but they do have ones that you can compete in.
Yeah.
Because we got a guy who was a dad up there at the school, and he's in the ones you can compete at all the time. And I like the fact that they are making it easier, because you're still dealing with the fact that they're saying, okay, number one, they're trying to raise money for a fundraiser. So they want everybody that they can to compete in it so they can make that money. But secondly, I like the fact that it does interest the person who's not competitive.
Yeah, that's true.
So they at least getting off the butt, and then they may walk it this time, and then they see somebody running and say, wow, next time I'm going to run it.
Yeah.
And then it becomes that. Then if they start becoming competitive, they can move up to the bigger ranks.
Yeah. Well, my whole point was sometimes just finding something that you can, get involved in that's competitive, that can help with, what was the topic again?
Lack of reason not to overeat. You're supposed to make sure I don't do that I don't forget what we're talking about. Look at you. Yeah. So, all right. So moving along.
I've been around you too long.
Oh, you pay attention to the time? How long have we been going? Okay. All right. Visual attraction. Now this one is the killer. All right. That's why I was almost gotten to this. Everybody I want you to think about this as I say it. Jelly beans.
Yeah.
Cupcakes. Cake. Birthday cake. Ice cream. What else can I think about here?
I'm going to tell you the one that gets me the worst is all the the colored slushies that they have at like Sonic, Steak and Shake, those type of places. Yep. Oh my goodness. Okay. When you see the picture, it's insane.
Think of a picture of lasagna. Think of a picture of a cheeseburger. You know what I'm saying? But it's the visual attraction.
Maybe the sound, too, when you say it like that.
I guess it is now. Yeah, you're right. Well, they advertise on the radio. But the visual attraction, like I said, and I was getting to, and you cut me off because I was going into something going into this. You go into a candy store, how do they get you? With the colors. Mm-hmm. Everything is just sugar.
Yeah.
It's sugar. There ain't nothing different. Then you got some sour flavor in some of it, and then some of it you got chocolate in it.
Yeah.
But it's the colors that get you and suck you in and make you want to eat. Like I said, when I see jelly beans, they don't taste that great.
No,
they ain't that great tasting. But I love jelly beans.
Unless they're like
the
Starburst ones or something. But
right. But I like the colors of it. So we have to remember that the visual attraction, when they take these pictures of it and they Photoshop it up and make you see it and you want to eat it because it looks good.
Yeah.
So if we know that, so you can't allow just because you see something that looks good to say, I'm going to eat that just because it looks good.
But I will say this, and I always say this, and I always stress on this.
Okay, well, say it now.
Most of those things, birthday cake, cotton candy, all those kind of things.
Oh, yeah, cotton candy.
They were designed in the olden days to only eat on birthdays and to only eat when you go to carnivals. And,
wait a minute, you trying to bust me out?
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you always say that to me. That's why you said you always say
even going and eating ice cream, it used to be more of a weekend thing where you went on a day and, you ate ice cream. But things are so in your face now. Birthday cake's available. Every time you go to Deerberg's or Schnucks or Walmart or wherever, go buy your groceries at, they have so much that's out. You know what I'm saying? But
they make you feel that it's okay.
But it's supposed to be, I come in, it's someone's birthday, and I order this birthday cake, and they have to go make the birthday cake for me. Or, you're not supposed to eat cotton candy, twice a week. You're supposed to eat it, once a year when you go to the carnival. Or I know I'm being kind of old-fashioned with this, but that's where it all started.
That's the truth. And I always say this, you have to remember something. This comes to your defending yourself, which we always stand for, your awareness. We're bringing the awareness, the defenses. You have to understand that the food market and a lot of these people, they will corrupt your health to make money off of you on food. They don't care. If you went into the ice cream store, you can go to the ice cream shop. And the owner can be standing right there. You come in, you be 130 pounds. And you keep coming, you and your family, for 3 to 5 years. And y'all all get the 300 pounds, your 10-year-old kid get the 200 pounds, and he will keep selling you that ice cream.
Yeah.
He is not going to say, dude, you need to stop eating this ice cream. You're eating too much. Mm-hmm. He's going to keep selling and selling and selling. So it's just, sadly, everybody, it's like a drug dealer.
Yeah.
It's just like a drug dealer selling crack. We're ready to move into that next. But it's just like a drug dealer selling drugs. And you are the buyer, we're moving to this, the addict, who they don't care about your health. If they did, and this is the thing, they can't. To be in business, they can't care about your health. You know why? Because they'll lose to the guy who doesn't care about your health.
Yeah.
If I'm in an ice cream and candy store, and I say, man, I want to sell this as a treat, and we only selling cakes for birthdays, and we're going to do the right thing with this food. When I say, and you come in, I see you getting, I say, oh man, you're getting a little round there. This is not really good for your health. You should cut back on this ice cream. You're going to go to the guy next door. Yeah. Or, whoever I say that to, he's going to say, this idiot, I'm going to open an ice cream shop.
Well, how come it used to work then?
Well, I
wonder
it used to work.
What changed?
It used to work because it wasn't, it's just because when people start buying more, and so it's, like I said, because the way corruption works, we build corruption because we build it out of demand.
Yeah.
Because I want, give me what I want when I want it. So that's the whole thing is it's still the fact that you have to understand that these candy stores, these food stores, these restaurants, all these places do not care. Remember, we went to Longhorn, Lone Star, and all these steak restaurants. And you can't, like people like us, the table's so far away from the seat.
Yeah.
That you like sit on the edge. You're like, I can't even reach the table.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody asked me, I can't say that's because it's designed for overweight people. Mm-hmm. They want them comfortable here because that's who their best customers are.
Right.
So they're making it where, we want you to get big and we're going to keep feeding you. When you have your heart attack, I'm not coming to visit you at the hospital.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. So moving along because we only got 3 minutes. All right. The last one the reasons why we overeat, addiction. Now, it's been proven that sugar is 3 times more addictive than heroin for a human being.
Cocaine, I think they said.
No, heroin. Because heroin's supposed to be a worse drug than cocaine.
Oh.
Yep, than heroin and cocaine. But what they did a test with lab rats, and I have the video. It's called Fed Up. If you want to look it up, watch the video. Mm-hmm. And they put the lab rats in, And they had one thing dripping heroin, another one dripping sugar. And the rats went to the sugar, went to the sugar, went to the sugar, went to the sugar. And if you don't believe me that you are addicted to sugar, I bet there's not one person who's listening who's not addicted to sugar, unless you know about this and you've weaned yourself from it incredibly. And if you have, you need to be helping other people to do it. I dare you to go 1 week without eating any refined sugar. None. I mean, you can't.
The hard part is you don't even know what it's in anymore.
It's in 80% of the food.
Yeah.
Corn syrup. And this is the thing, as far as you say, well, how can I find out what it's in? Good luck.
Yeah.
Because there's over 300 names for sugar.
Yeah.
Because they keep changing the name so you don't know what's in there because they know, okay, we're looking for sugar. Now we're looking for corn syrup. Now we're looking for sucralose. Now we're looking for beet sugar. They give it all these then now you're looking for natural sugar. What do you mean natural sugar? Anything that grew on planet Earth is natural.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they manipulate you with these names.
Yeah, even organic. The name organics become corrupt.
Yeah, exactly. Now you got to make sure it's got the USDA to be considered organic.
Yeah.
So and then who knows what's happened with that? I learned that 8 years ago. That's probably changed now. But that's the whole thing is we have to understand the addiction to sugar. What is salt? Salt is something else we're greatly addicted to, and fat.
Fat, yep.
So if you don't believe, and like I said, try to go without eating those three things and watch how psychotic you become.
Yeah.
You will be like a drug addict. And I know because as a professional athlete, I used to, when I had competitions coming up, I would wean myself from it, about 2 months ahead. And dude, that was 2 weeks of like coming off drugs.
Yeah, you get headaches, everything.
Headaches, depressed, bad mood, and then, but once that 2 weeks passed, I felt awesome. And I can eat an apple and an apple tasted like candy to me.
What about caffeine? Is that included in it or not?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because that's the main thing I notice. Like if I go a couple of days with no coffee or anything, I get a headache and everything. I'm like, where am I getting this headache from?
Caffeine is definitely an addiction, and that's where the headache comes from when you try to wean yourself off of it. And one of the main reasons we need caffeine is because we eat unhealthy, because our body isn't fueled correctly.
Yeah,
we got too much. Our arteries are clogged. That's what happens. People go and they'll say, man, they'll go eat a pizza or a hamburger or even what's that,
nachos.
Subways for lunch.
Well, Subway is still better than what most people eat for lunch.
Yeah, but that's still processed meat, which that's a whole nother podcast. Because remember, I used to be a butcher, so I know what goes into processed meat. But we're not going to talk about that one on this podcast because we only got like 1 minute left.
Yeah.
So anyway, but still they'll eat an unhealthy lunch, and then you'll feel tired. The reason we're tired is because we just ate unhealthy, and we ate too much. We overate. Just like me, I always say, man, I need half a salad for lunch. No more than that. What happens when we get me a half a salad and a sandwich? What happens to me?
Yeah, you fall asleep.
Me. I fall asleep. And luckily for me, with my job being a business owner, I can go to sleep in my office if I want to, take a 2-minute nap and wake up. But some people, they don't have that luxury. Yeah. You got to be back at the desk. So now they're wondering, why am I sleeping? It's because you just ate, first of all, that bread you ate had tons of sugar in it, and you overate. And then you're sitting there, now you're drinking coffee to wake yourself up, to counter this unhealthy thing. But that's why we need caffeine. It's because we're off with our eating.
Right.
Whenever you eat correctly, your body automatically stays up for what you need to do. You got your energy levels are correct.
Which I think that if you have to pick a side, I think having coffee throughout the day at work and stuff, that kind of keeps you energized and it doesn't make you eat as much. It's probably a little better than overeating and eating too much junk. And so I'm a little more on the side of being for caffeine than being for sugar.
Well, black coffee is a part of, a diet to lose weight.
Yeah.
If somebody's trying to lose weight, but it's still a drug. You can then get addicted to caffeine. The coffee can dehydrate your body. You get malnourished because you're not eating, because that's what happened. People start drinking coffee and say, I'm trying to lose weight. Well, crackheads lose weight by smoking crack.
Yeah.
So just because you're losing weight don't mean you're losing it healthy-wise, which we deal with all the time. People gaining weight as they're getting in shape because your muscles are getting fed.
Yeah.
So that could be, you don't want to go too far in the other direction, too. So it's best just to try and get yourself healthy.
At the end of the day, it's so hard out there for everybody, in the real world of working and mom and dad working and then coming home and having to take care of in the crazy world that we live in, I always hope that, through what we talk about and what you guys are hearing from us helps you. But we do understand that it is hard out there and it's not as easy as, what we make it even sound sometimes. So
we don't do it all the time.
So I always hope just, as we grow and stuff, we can, find ways that help, everybody out there that, in this crazy busy world that we live in. So we know it's hard for everybody out there.
And so real quick, here's some ways to seize control of your eating, of overeating. number one, this is something I do. Eat raw veggies or fruit before your meals. And that's something I do whenever I'm getting ready to eat dinner. I pull out the vegetable tray first. Drink water only while you're waiting for meals. If you're at a restaurant, don't order soda or juice while you're waiting. You'll drink 4 or 5 glasses. Mm-hmm. Drink water. When your food shows up, then order your soda or your juice, and that'll help. Okay, share your meal with a spouse or friend. If you're eating out, most of these meals have 3 servings for a human being. 3 servings, even the kid food. So it's okay for you and your wife, or you and your girlfriend, you and your boyfriend, you and your kid to share the meal. Eat a salad, share the meal. That's something that'll help. Junk food. If you're about to eat a candy bar, when you break it open, break, a quarter to a half of it off, throw it in the trash. That way you don't eat it. That way you can throw it, it's gone. You only eat half of it.
Frozen blueberries.
Oh, I eat frozen blueberries. All right, but we talking about junk food. Not that. All right, another one, pick a fitness goal or event. Look up some stuff. If you're not an athlete, there's 5Ks for breast cancer, for kids, for all kinds of things that's going to help people out. So pick a fitness goal or event to prepare yourself for. And last but not least, schedule a photo shoot. That's something, get out there and just get some pictures of yourself. As we're all getting older, you're going to want pictures of yourself when you were young anyway. So set a goal that, this spring, I'm doing a photo shoot. And you pick your costumes out and everything, and then get yourself in shape. That's a good reason not to overeat. Hey, I got a photo shoot coming up. I can't eat that junk. And that's something that can help you too.
Yep.
So.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, Jermaine Andre and Rebekah signing off from LifeFight. We hope we told you some things that can help you out with keep you from overeating. I hope it's going to help me. It does. That's why I'm in the shape that I'm in. And remember, we're on iTunes, we're on Spreaker, we're on iHeartRadio and Stitcher. Listen to us. Feel free to give reviews. We're always looking for those. And remember now that you got me in your corner, so I got you back. Everybody stay strong, and until next time, take care.
Take care.
For all things Jermaine Andre, get books, get trained. Learn the secrets behind his brawn, his brain, and his edge. Visit JermaineAndre.com. LifeFight with Jermaine Andre is another positive production of RareGem Productions. Thanks for listening.